For nearly 10 years, the partnership of Martin Pipe and Tony McCoy proved as successful as any that had gone before. Over 1,100 winners together and 11 separate Cheltenham Festival winners along the way, including the '97 champion hurdle, they made their own records and they broke others. Standards were set by two men who revolutionised their respective professions. As the eyes of the sporting world focus on AP McCoy once again, and as we salute number 4,000, I recently visited Pond House and caught up with Martin Pipe, who gave us a unique insight into the career of Tony McCoy. Martin, when did you first come across Tony McCoy?
He came when he worked for Toby Boulding. He was a conditional jockey for Toby, and I can remember having some rides at Newton Abbot. I remember watching him. I think it must have been in the press that he was a good young claimer, and so we watched him a few times, and he looked very competent. Rode very well, rode some winners, fell off a few times when he was on the chases, I can remember that, but you could see that he was very, very, very competent.
So you could see in him even very early on he had that sort of natural talent, if you like.
You could see the young lad that was part of the horse, with the horse, and wanted to win.
To put it into context, before he came to Pond House, you had champion jockeys, Peter Scudamore, Richard Dunwoody, as stable jockeys. What was it you were looking for in a jockey?
Peter Scu was brilliant, he was very good. Just somebody that was very keen, dedicated, rode well, obviously schooled them well, obviously jumped well, part of the horse, could ride a finish, and wanted to win, basically.
His first winner for you came in 1995. He rode a horse called Crossula to win. He was sent off 6-4. What do you remember about that day?
That's right, I think that was Hereford, was it? Yes, he won round there, rode him well. We told him to have him up there basically and make it, and he jumped brilliantly for him, went on and won. Great start.
Were you already thinking there, because that was a season before he became stable jockey, were you already sort of putting plans in place or thinking that you wanted to build a more solid partnership with him?
Not really, it's just, we were just looking for a jockey that day, and AP was free. He was obviously very good, so we managed to put him up, and it grew from there, really, from then on, but there was no immediate plans.
How did it grow? Was it quite a natural sort of progression?
He went on and rode a few more for me, rode some more winners, and then we were looking for a stable jockey, so I asked him if he would ride for us. He must have said yes, so it grew from small acorns, big trees grow, that's what they say, isn't it?
How did your relationship with Tony change when he became stable jockey here at Pond House?
Hopefully it blossomed, hopefully it improved, I'm sure, because then we were all on the same wavelength, all going for the same thing, which was just winners. I think he wanted to win more than me, so we're both dedicated to the same the same ultimate, really, the same winners. We both wanted those.
Does the dynamic change in terms of the feedback given, the work they have to do here at home prior to race day? Does that alter?
All my jockeys have always written reports on what they did, and I think it's probably the first time that AP did this. I don't think he did it for anybody else. So we just have a little form, a little sheet, and he used to fill in a report, and he did it perfectly. Filled it in, faxed it to me in those days, and we had them the same night. So you do build up a rapport, and he'd write things, and so we learnt from each other, and he was brilliant. He really was very, very good at writing reports and giving you feedback.
After each ride?
After each ride, yes.
He'd have to fill in a report.
For every ride.
And that's something you've done with your jockeys in the past?
All the time. We did it with Scu, everything, because you can't really remember what goes on. You're excited, you win, you tell the owner this, it's fantastic, he did this, he did that, and you forget perhaps some obvious things. Perhaps that he was lucky when, an AP always writes an honest report. They all do, they all write a good report. If you're lucky you weren't brought down, or lucky you're in the right place, or if you listen to my instructions to go on the inside, I got brought down, but AP had him on the outside and won. So all these things, or the horse made a noise, you forget to make perhaps simple things. So when you write it down, and the jockeys in the past, you say the horse hung left. Yeah, I told you that ages ago, and I'd say no, you didn't. Because couldn't remember everything. I still can't remember things. So, but if it's written down there in the report, I can say, you never told me that, or you never told me the horse wants 3 miles, or whatever. So it's facts, and the owner and everybody learns from it.
And you keep it on file so you can call it up when needed.
I've got it forever. Can I tell you about one report AP wrote?
I'd love you to.
Later on in years, it was a frightening report, really. We were there with the owner at the races. This is many years on, and the horse won. And I remember driving it to the races in their Land Rover and trailer, Range Rover and trailer, and the horse duly won. And kisses and cuddles afterwards. You know, the owner was delighted that it won. So I phoned the owner the next day after I had AP's report. I said, I'm sorry, I've got some bad news. He said, what happens? The horse is lame? Something wrong? No, I said, the horse is perfectly okay. Everything's okay. The horse is eaten up. But I tell you what AP put on his report. He said, yeah, what's that? He said, the horse will never win again. It's the only time it's ever happened. The horse will never win again. What a statement for a jockey to make, isn't it?
Did he give you a reason?
It was just no good, basically. He said, it will never win again. And I told him, he said, it's okay, sell it. So he sold it, and the horse never won again. So how confident can you be to write that?
Was that later on in sort of his time?
It was later on, yes, later on. But do you know what I mean? It's a fantastic thing to have. It's what you want to hear. You don't always have to believe everything they write down, but it's fantastic. And we did that day, and we sold him, and I'm afraid he didn't win again. That
was probably a sign of the confidence that grew between you two through the years, that he was able to be that honest.
Yes, exactly. You know, he'd written down, I'd given him the wrong instructions. Anything, or he rode a bad race or anything, that's what you want to hear. So you know that you can correct it and get it right next time. It's the most important part.
I know you're meticulous in the instructions that you used to give to jockeys. Did it take Tony a while to sort of adapt to that, being told sort of specifics about a race, or was he? No,
Tony would ride them here on the gallops, and so we'd say make all or whatever the instructions were, and he's very good, and he knew what to do. He knew better than me, basically.
I read an interview, I think it was in The Guardian, and it was regarding Peter Scudamore and yourself. I think Peter said that, or you might have said that you disagreed a lot, which is why you sort of formed quite a good friendship through the years. Was that the case with Tony? Would you have sort of arguments about horses? Would you have disagreements?
I think we had 1 or 2 ups and downs. You always do, don't you? In marriage, my wife always should say I was married to Peter Scudamore, because we were always on the phone in those days, and goodness knows what. So you do have disagreements. You wrote it wrong or whatever, you know what I mean? Depends what happens. The same with AP. You have differences of opinions. Say, right, well, okay, today we do it your way, and then see what happens. Or today I want you to do it my way, and see what happens. You've got to have an opinion before the race of how to ride it, what to do, what happens.
1997 at the Cheltenham Festival was in many ways a breakthrough for you two, because you had Au Royale, who won the Arkle, and you had Make a Stand, who won the Champion Hurdle. Did you think then that was the start of things to come?
Not really. I never thought about it. We just enjoyed having winners and both being on the same wavelength, basically.
Make a Stand was a remarkable story, because it was claimed for 8,000 from a race at Leicester, and then you threw him in by mistake, was it, or without the owner knowing?
Yes, I claimed him for 8,000 at Leicester. I was at Leicester races, and he duly won. And then Mr. Peter Deal phoned me a few days later. He owned him and said, "You claimed my horse." I said, "Well, I'm sorry, but that's the rules. Can I buy him back?" I said, "Of course you could buy him back if you leave him with us." And there were some partners in it, and he phoned a few days later, and the other partners didn't want to come in or something. So I said, "That's okay. You can have half of him, whatever, and I'll sell the other half share. So you can run in your colours and everything like that." My wife wasn't very pleased, so I sent out a letter to all the owners I had, about 10 at the time, I suppose, to sell a half share in this horse. And nobody wanted to buy it for $4,000 for half what we gave for it. Luckily, I kept it, so we had lots of prize money that year, about 280 grand, I think, or something like that. But yes, he was a novice, so we entered him in the novices at Cheltenham, and I thought I really wanted to put him in the Champion as well. I never asked Peter's permission, so I just put him in the Champion Hurdle, and told him about a week later. I said, "Oh, by the way, I entered him in the Champion Hurdle." He said, "Very good."
And McCoy carried him over the line.
And McCoy went off in front and really kept going, and it was really exciting to see him jump the last. He flew, and Very, very exciting.
A bit of front running, two-space stocker in second, I'm supposing. It's gearing up the hill also with a run. It's Theatre World, it's Make a Stand. Will he last home? He's got about 150 yards to go. He will. It's Make a Stand. He's making his mark on this Smurfing Champion hurdle. It's Make a Stand who wins it. Theatre World is second, Space Stocker third. Then I'm supposing four. Hill Society cut through the pack to beat San Martino and Cridwell. And then behind...
He had 11 separate Cheltenham Festival winners for you. Just picking out a few, Champlain, Cypher-Malty had a very good record in the Arkle. Was there one of those 11 winners at the festival that you thought could only have won with Tony McCoy on?
There was certainly the one in the Arkle. It was in the photo finish. Well, it was Champlain, yeah. That was a photo finish where two went across the line together. And I believe the other one was Noel Mead that was second. And, you know, I didn't know which one. And I remember saying to Noel Mead, I'm not worried, it doesn't matter, you know. And Mr. Johnson said to me, of course it matters, of course it matters. But luckily we won, and certainly AP won that race without a shadow of doubt.
Because of his strength in the finish?
Because of his strength in his finish, yes. His strength and determination. If we did win, I look at the photo and still doubt it.
Fighting his nails now because Mandis Mantino is in second place and closing. Jumped it well with the red cap on the left. This Hill Society, Edelweiss to Müller. The far side is shown there. The 5-year-old is getting a very weary horse. And look at the charge. Mandis Mantino and Hill Society. It's going to be a blanket finish here. The strength of McCoy. Here comes Richard Dunwoody, Hill Society. On the nod between Shoalhaven and Hill Society.
It would have been much easier for him on Unsinkable Boxer. I know we've heard the story many times, but I've always found it fascinating. As he was walking out, is it right that you said to him that this was the biggest certainty in Cheltenham history or racing history or something?
That's right, that's right. He said, how do we ride it? I remember in the paddock or something, he said, how do we ride it? How do we ride it? I said, doesn't matter how you ride it. He said, it can't get beat. It's the biggest certainty ever. And he went out, and I can remember him coming around the bend, and if you see him coming around the bend on Unsinkable Boxer at Cheltenham, he's got a happy, smiling face. He's just saying, how far will I win? And it was a marvellous race and a great day for AP.
He didn't do a flying dismount after Unsinkable Boxer, but he did do a flying dismount after Blowing Wind, emulating Frankie, I think, for the first and only time in his career. And there's a wonderful photo you've got here at Pond House. Did he ever give you a reason why he did the flying dismount for that particular horse?
I don't know. I think it was a great day. Blowing Wind had won on the Saturday, won the Imperial Cup. And then, of course, he goes for the bonus at the Cheltenham Festival. And he won on him, so he was delighted. He had 3 other winners that same day at the festival. One for Henrietta Knight and another one for me. I think he was just so delighted and so pleased, and we were all cheering, of course, very excited because we won the bonus basically, plus the other winners. And it must have been a sense of euphoria at the time, and he just did a flying dismount. It was fantastic to see him do it.
He's also ridden a few races in the Grand National, plenty of races in the Grand National. It was a race that eluded him for many years until Don't Push It won for his current boss, JP McManus and John Joe O'Neill.
That was tremendous, yes.
I imagine, was there a sense of pride when he won that from your point of view, or was it relief as well? Because you must have known how much he wanted to win that race as well.
Everybody wants to win the Grand National. It really is a fantastic race. Really, it's very tough to win for horse and rider and trainer, of course, and the owner's delighted when they win. So I was really pleased for JP and AP and John Jew, everyone connected with it. You know, as if it was our own, we really were.
Black Avalanche trying to preserve the run up the inside, but Tony McCoy, the winning Welsh National Hunt rider of all time, has waited a long time to land his first John Smith's Grand National. First all round, Tony McCoy, JP McManus, John Joe O'Neill, Don't Push It won the National.
It's the first ride I think he had in the Grand National. He rode a horse called Chatham. He must have been 17 or 18. And he rode this horse, Chatham. We put him on it. I had 4 or 5 in the race, I'm sure. And Chatham fell. I don't know, probably after a circuit or a circuit and a half. He had a chance, obviously he had a chance with AP on. And he fell at this fence. And I remember AP coming back, and he was really, really excited and going through everything with me, how excited he was. And the way he was going on, I thought he won. You know, I said, goodness, no, calm down. But it was fantastic. The enthusiasm he had then, after riding a faller in the Grand National, shows just how much he wanted to win the race.
So when he came back, he was buzzing.
He was really buzzing. He was really full of it, really excited. And, you know, could have talked for hours about his ride in the Grand National, falling.
And then he rode a horse who I mean, I don't know much about training a Grand National horse, but when you look at a horse like Northern Starlight, I imagine he probably doesn't fit the mould of a typical Grand National horse because he was tiny.
Yes, he won round the Grand National course. He won the John Hughes. And there's a little story, I don't know if I ought to tell you. He came down here one day. We schooled, must be like 30 horses over fences. Had a schooling morning, and they're all ready for him and all down, they're all lined up. And I had Northern Starlight, 15-2, this horse. So I thought I'd better leave him till last. I don't want anything to go wrong. I don't want him to fall on his first schooling session, and he can't school all the others, really. So we left him till last, and AP was buzzing up over the fences, fantastic, going in, doing all the fences. And I said, AP, it's one more I want you to school. And the horse was there waiting, and he looked at me, he gave the filthiest look you could see, looked at me and said, you know what? Went and jumped on it. Looks like it would kill me, he gave me, he really did, you know. So what am I doing riding this horse? So you could see what he was thinking. So he jumped on this Northern Starlight, this little pony, went in straight up over 5 fences, boom, 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 boom. You know, fearless, absolutely fearless and stupid he was. Boom, 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 boom. Jumped the 5 fences. I remember him coming back like this. He says, there's always the exception to the rule. That's what he said, there's always the exception to the rule. But he gives the horse so much confidence. And that's what he did. And then he rode this horse around the John Hughes, and there's the picture of him looking over the fence. And there he is down here. And all the other horses are up there. You can hardly see the horse. And the other jockeys will be saying, what are you riding? What pony are you riding? And he gave it a brilliant ride. I'm sure no other jockey in their right mind would do that. It was fantastic what he did. The confidence he gave the horse. Such a little horse. But of course the horse had to have guts and courage. But he gets it all from the saddle as well. And AP was brilliant.
Let's talk, if we can, Martin, about the characteristics that Tony has and possesses as a jockey. We've touched on Scudamore, we've touched on Dunwoody. What sets Tony apart?
They're all different in their ways. They're all good jockeys. They're all very good. Skew was very good. Terrific front-running jockey, very good. So was Richard Dunwoody, of course. Sheer class, a really top-class jockey, won a Grand National for me. AP... it's just that something special. It's just something different. Probably, I think it may show up more than anything just on their schooling, on the schooling at home. But they all schooled their horses differently. And AP was the most confident. He'd go into his fences as if he never had a care in the world. He said, always knew. He said, I've always got to know the horse is going to jump. You know, you have one that say, look, be careful, this is a little bit dodgy. And he'd ride it the same as if it was a Go Cup horse, you know what I mean? If it was one that's jumped round the Go Cup and won, then they say, watch this novice. And he'd just ride it straight in, so relaxed, so calm, and give him bags of confidence, and the horse would jump for him. He just seemed to have that something extra. He really was part of the horse.
Because that confidence that he has bleeds into the horse and the horse's mind, and they think...
That instills into the horse. He said, I've got to believe the horse can jump. It's no good thinking that he can't jump, otherwise I shouldn't be riding it. And he just seemed to get that sense through to the horse, and the horses do it for him.
A lot is made of his dedication, his commitment, his sort of constant need for victory, his sort of competitiveness, if you know what I mean. Did you see that even from a very early stage in his career?
Yes, I think his competitiveness and everything is unequalled, really. He's always got that will to win and always wants to go out and perform to the best. He gives every horse a Go Cup ride, basically, whether it's in a Saddler or the Go Cup. He rides every horse with utter confidence, as if it's the Go Cup, and he has that will to win. And he instills the confidence and everything into the horse.
People say that you revolutionised the way horses were trained. Do you think it's fair to say that he's revolutionised the way national hunt jockeys ride and the professionalism needed to be a national hunt jockey?
Of course he has. It's unparalleled, really. It's you know, you see AP and he's dropping back to last. Normally you just cross it off, say that can't win. It's gone, you know. Then you see AP's on it, you know, 3 jumps later, there he is, back up there in the race. Lo and behold, he goes on to win. So it's a never give up attitude that he enthralls into the horse and into the racing public. The racing public love him because they see that they know they're really on a jockey that will give 100%, and you're never beat with an AP horse.
He's the line, 50 yards, if we go. Here comes Richard, a line man with a charge. He gets there.
Which an alignment for AP McCoy, John Joe and JP McManus win the Willie Hill Trophy.
Were there any times on a racetrack or here at home schooling or in a piece of work where you sort of sat back and were genuinely in awe of his skills?
Always, basically. Always when he wins on horses that other people wouldn't win on. That's the chance you've got with AP. I'd said to him sometimes in the paddock, "You can't win on this." He'd say, "Why?" I said, "So and so will beat you," you know. And he'd come in, of course. "I told you." And he'd be on the winner. "I told you." So he just sometimes I used to try and rile him up a little bit, saying, "You can't win this race," you know. But he would. He was just really, really determined. He would try 100% all the time.
If we can talk through the numbers, he's ridden over a quarter of his winners for you as a trainer. You've given him over a quarter of his winners in his career. 1,154 winners he rode for you. A remarkable achievement. What do you put that down to? Why was it the stage of your career where everything was going best? Was everything sort of clicking into place after years of sort of working out your craft? And same with him. Was that him at the time where everything fell into place as a jockey? Was it just perfectly matched?
I don't know, 1,154, it's fantastic, isn't it? The number of winners he rode for me. 29% of his total, and also 29% of my total. I only had 3,929 winners, I think it was, so he's beaten my total easily. So I really am proud of him, very proud. He is a brilliant jockey and a brilliant person. I don't know whether it clicked, but things were just going right. It was just the way of the times, I suppose. We had all the best horses. You can't win without the horse, and you couldn't win without AP. So we were just very lucky together.
In the 2001-2002 season, Tony broke Sir Gordon Richards' long-standing record for winners in a season. He rode 289. His record that broke Sir Gordon's was 270, and you were the trainer of that 270th winner with Valphonic. What was it like when you two were chasing that target down?
It was very thrilling to try and get for AP to beat Sir Gordon. And as you say, to ride 189 for one stable was fantastic. I don't think he'll ever be beaten again, really. 189 winners for the same team is really marvellous. His percentage was tremendous that season, about 29, 28%, I don't know, tremendous. You know, every time he was going out at 1 in 3, he was winning anyway, basically. Really, really exciting. And just going to the races and getting winners, the public loved him, the punters loved him, everyone loved him. It really was phenomenal. Just to keep winning, just the winning machine. That's what AP is.
Away from the saddle, what was AP like to deal with as a man, as a family man that he is, fundamentally as a normal bloke?
He ain't normal. That's the first thing. He's not normal. No, he's a lovely guy, a brilliant friend to us he's been. In the yard, he would help the young conditionals. He would help the young boys. And I'd say to the lads sometimes when we go to the races, what do I say? Go and see AP, he'll tell you how to ride the course. And he would tell him what to do, even though he's riding against them. So a fantastic guy. What he's done for racing, we're all very proud of. It really is marvellous. All the good deeds he's done. He loves the kids. All the kids go up to him for autographs and things like that, and you stop and have a chat to them. All his charity work, he's absolutely marvellous. He gives his time freely to anyone. He really does. Will speak to anyone in the street, on the racecourse, and they all love him. It's unparalleled, really.
I know that you were sort of half joking, but they say many a true word said in jest. So what do you mean when you say he isn't normal?
He can't be normal because he's so dedicated to everything. He's so dedicated to his racing, so dedicated to his family, to Chanel and Eve and another AP now, Archie Badair, so another AP coming along that's marvellous. He just spends his time and gives his time freely. Even when he goes out with the lads and things, he'll look after them. He always look after the lads at the parties and goodness knows what. As I say, he gives his time freely. He really is an honour to the sport. He was voted Sports Personality of the Year absolutely fantastic, thoroughly deserved, and he has been so good for racing. We're all very, very proud of him.
Is that your overriding emotion when you see all the awards, all the accolades that he rightly gets? Is your overriding emotion a sense of pride?
You know, I hope I've been part of it. And as I say, we love everything AP does. I can remember being thrilled when he won the Grand National, thrilled when he won the Sports Personality of the Year, thrilled for him personally. He's a totally true, dedicated professional, and I'm very honoured to have him as a friend.
My final question, Martin, is for a young jockey watching this, given the sort of knowledge you have from working with him for such a long period of time, if you were to say to them, look out for AP, the way he does this, what sets him apart, what would you say to a young jockey to keep their eye out on?
I tell all my jockeys, all my conditioners, all you've got to do is watch AP. Wherever he goes, you follow him. It's simple as that. Whatever he does, it's correct, it's perfect.